I would love to see both guys actually come up here. We can see if we can grab them.
Bring them up.
See if we can get both of them. And you know what?
You know what?
I'd love to see this fight a third time. These guys make great fights.
Matt, go get him.
Yeah, I think they're just getting checked out by the commission real quick.
Yeah, bring them up.
We'll bring up both guys. But man, I mean, you know what? From an adjustment standpoint, I think, again, Driver's more naturally talented. I can see Driver as a guy that develops into more of a fighter and winning easier. But he's got a lot to work on.
I think Mr. Melendez nailed it on the head. Styles make fights. Yep. It's a cliche, but it's an accurate cliche.
It is.
And he hit the nail on the head with that one.
That was a beautiful fight, though.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
Very good fight.
You don't have to really agree with the ending, but as long as you enjoy the fight, is what makes boxing.
I guess you don't let one bad apple spoil the whole bunch. And if the bad apple was 40-36, that doesn't take away from a very exciting competitive fight.
Exactly.
I'm not going to let that ruin that, even though it is unfortunate. Again, had that been 39-37 for Driver, we'd be okay. So, one round should not ruin a very good fight experience.
No, it was a great fight.
Yep. I think it's, and there wasn't a ton of cheering after that. Not that Driver didn't deserve it, but even I think his people were just very, very nervous. Usually they burst out into cheers, they're excited, but there was a lot of silence. I think a lot of people really did not know until the decision was announced.
You know what? I tell you what, I expected that 39-37 either way. It could have went either way. Exactly, I agree.
I'm surprised there wasn't a 38-38, to be honest.
That's what I wanted to hear. You know what? That last one should have been 38-38, and that would have been a draw. You know what? That would have been it.
But 39-37, acceptable card.
Either way.
And again, it's a 4-round fight. So one round goes a different way. It looks very different. Than if it's a 6-round, 8-round, 10-round fight. So
And you know what? That was a very entertaining fight.
Absolutely.
You know what? We have not been bored, not once.
No, been a great card so far.
Yep. So, guys, they actually fought December 8th, 2017. Exact same result. 4-round split decision in favor of Mr. Driver. So, once again, rematch. 4-round split decision in favor of Driver.
You know what? I do it again.
You know what? We'll have to ask Matt. Maybe Driver wouldn't want to.
How about 6 rounds?
What happens?
Make him fight 2 more rounds.
Yeah. Again, I think Driver would have taken over based on what we saw. I think Driver was getting a little bit stronger, and I think he realized he had to turn it up. So.
Where did Rodriguez go?
I think he might have taken it off towards the back. But I'll tell you this: a lot of people out there probably weren't Rodriguez fans. I think they are now. He definitely won over some of the crowd that probably wasn't originally here for him.
You know what? He won me over. I think the man did a great job.
He did. And again, he's a guy that doesn't have a great record. You look at it on paper, you say, oh, he's this, he's that. But you know what? He just came and pushed not only a local prospect, but one of the more popular guys in this area.
You know what? Paper will hold anything you put on it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we're going to be getting Chucky Driver up here momentarily to discuss his victory. Put a headset on him real quick. Chucky, congratulations on your victory. Second time fighting him, second split decision. We spoke before the fight. We spoke about it. You said you wanted to get him out of there. He actually was kind of more the aggressor, and you were more the boxer until the last round. What was your main game plan going into the fight, and did you have to adjust at all, being the way that he kind of gave you some trouble in those middle rounds?
When I came in to box him, start out boxing him, and then in the later rounds, break him down, try to get him out of there. But, I had to adapt to the style he came with this time. Okay.
So you had told me before the fight they call you Young Pressure because you apply a lot of pressure, but you actually were most effective when you were boxing. Is that nickname almost like to confuse people? Not to say you can't apply pressure, but you were actually best when you were boxing and moving your hands. So is that almost like a little?
Well, I usually put the pressure on, but tonight I thought it was more easier to box and make an easy fight.
Well, we all thought you were more effective when you were boxing.
Boxing, right, yeah.
And when he was applying pressure and you boxed, it was great. When you actually wanted to apply pressure and he was applying pressure, you were at a disadvantage at one time or another. So how do you feel the decision went? Do you think that you won every round? Do you think that he did better in between the rounds and you had the beginning and the end? How do you feel the fight went?
Well, I think I won it unanimous. But, I did kind of leave it close in the middle round, so I'll take a split decision.
Yeah, you did a great job at the beginning. We all agree. Yeah,
right. What was your mindset in the final round? Because you had an excellent final round.
In the final round, I was like, I want to get him out of there. But, He's a tough guy. He got a lot of heart, so it's a good fight.
So the $1 million question, you know, again, you fought him twice in 4 rounders. You beat him by split decision both times. This was a very good fight. Would you be willing to fight him again maybe in a 6-rounder, being that you guys put on such good fights?
I think a 6-rounder, yeah. Cool. So I'll probably take a couple fights. He'll take a couple fights. We both win, and we'll go back.
All right. Demarius Chucky Driver, split decision victory tonight. Congratulations on a great performance. Now 3-0. Thank you, Chucky.
All right. Great job.
That was a good fight.
Very good fight. The most competitive one of the night.
And credit to him, he did give respect to his opponent, so that was good.
Yeah. And again, I think he kind of has to, because the guy gave him a really good fight. What
It was a great fight.
He can't say the guy's a stiff, because then it's like he's almost like discrediting himself too.
That's why I wanted to know. It's like, look, what do you feel about how you did? He was like, I think I laid off in the middle round. He was right.
He was.
He laid off in the second and third round. So he did not, he didn't come up being lied. Oh, I think no.
And here's the thing, guys. He will benefit dramatically from this fight if he.
It's a learning experience. Every fight's a learning experience. Every fight.
Guys, coming up right now, we've got Dedrick Bell out of Memphis against Adam Young, who also is out of Memphis. Interesting story here. We'll let the announcements come. That's an interesting story.
The 4-rounder in the super lightweight class, fighting out of the blue corner.
This is the final 4-round fight of the night, folks.
Weighing in at 141 pounds, Adam Supreme Young.
So Adam brought some family members along, so he's got some fans in there.
Yeah, and what I was saying is the interesting part about this is both guys are out of Memphis. These two have actually sparred before. They seem to know each other. Bell is another guy who has really fought everybody. And this is probably one of the rare opportunities for me. Kind of like Draper, who ironically is also from Memphis. You go up and down his record and you see a lot of names. The guy's got 55, 51, 52 pro fights.
I think it's 51.
51.
20, 30, and 1 is his record.
And there's some really good fighters from Memphis who don't have pretty records, but I just judged a fight by Donald Ward from Memphis,
Records
Tennessee.
don't mean nothing. You know what? I've seen some of the
best. A lot of tough
best
boxers from Memphis, Tennessee.
If you would actually sit there and think to yourselves, how many fighters would have been world champions?
Yeah.
That never had that opportunity.
I've said that over and over again. Look at boxing. It's all about. For a lot of guys, it's about how you're moved, and you could have a guy with a journeyman record. You and I were speaking earlier about, Doel Carrasquillo and George Sosa, guys that didn't have great records, but guys who would go out there and knock out some A-side guys and probably had some bad decisions go against them. But
a guy I mentioned earlier, Mike Hercules Weaver.
Yeah.
Lost his first 2 professional fights. He was heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep.
WBA.
And I'll tell you this, just going down going down Bell's record, he has a lot of names on his record. So the record itself is not pretty. But I'll just throw some names out there, a guy he's fought that we've seen on TV before. Mason Menard, Jake Cicero, another guy right here, Liddell Hackman Rhodes, Ivan Redkach, Jordanis Ugas, who's an Olympian and is on a roll. Charles Hadley, who fought for a world title. DeMarcus Corley, former world champion.
Chop.
Yep. Eddie Ramirez, who's been a PBC fighter featured a number of times. Adrian Granados, another one of those tough guys.
Adrian. I love Adrian.
Willie Fortune, Wesley Tucker, Patrick Harris. These are all guys that have fought on TV, and I named about 10 different guys who Bell fought, and I think only 1 or 2 of them stopped him.
I'll tell you what, Adrian Granados is one of the toughest fighters I've ever met.
Yeah, if you're a guy who's matching fights and looking to build your fighter up, Adrian Granados is not the guy that you put him in there. But we actually now are joined. Terrence, congratulations.
Oh, Rydell Mays.
I'm sorry, Rydell. I'm sorry, Rydell. I said Terrence. I'm sorry, Rydell.
So many fights.
I apologize. Yeah, it's been a busy night. So, congratulations. You know what? Very impressive for your pro debut.
Man,
you showed a lot of poise out there, and one thing I noticed, you were hurting him with pretty much everything you threw. Did you realize that you were able to hurt him?
Yeah, man. I felt like every time I touched him, it affected him. So one thing, I was just trying to keep myself composed and sit back. I knew it was just a matter of time before I knocked him out.
Okay. And again, my apologies. This is Rydell Mays' pro debut, local kid.
You used to play football, right?
Yeah, I played football for Riverdale.
So you actually have that conditioning technique that you would actually use. What do you think is best? Football training technique or boxing technique as far as getting prepared?
Man, I'm not even gonna lie. Once I started boxing, like there's no conditioning like boxing conditioning.
Exactly.
Boxing conditioning will get you in the best shape of your life.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. 100%.
Well, it looked to us like you could land your straight left hand anytime you wanted. Is that kind of your go-to punch? Or?
Man, actually, and it's kind of funny, that was the punch that was there, but actually my right hook is my hardest punch. I'm actually naturally right-handed. I just fight southpaw.
What was your amateur experience? You've been boxing since you were 15 years old.
Man, I only had 4 amateur fights.
Really? Nobody wanted to fight you?
Man, most of my experience came from sparring pros. I sparred Caleb Plant, which is up-and-coming, about to fight for
World title.
super middleweight title.
Yeah,
Harvey Jolly, which is a rangy veteran.
Oh, my God,
Hey,
Harvey.
we were just talking about guys with not the best records who can fight and beat guys. Harvey Jolly's
Harvey's
another
one
one
of
of those
them.
guys.
Yep.
Harvey Jolly's another guy you want to keep your prospects away from.
Harvey Jolly has gave a lot of prospects their first loss.
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
He's
Facts.
a beast.
I know another guy you did a little bit of work with, who's building his name in this area. He's got a good record, is Senag Becco. I spoke to him a little bit earlier. He said you're a strong fighter on the way up. What was it like working with a veteran like Senna, who's got a lot of fights?
Man, the 2 fighters that I sparred with getting ready for this fight was Cuba, Madeo Sando, who actually fights later tonight, and then Senna. The biggest thing I got from them was staying composed, staying tight. They actually made me pick up my speed because they're such smaller guys than me, so it made me a lot sharper working with them.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Senna before, big knockout puncher. He's been featured on TV. He was on the middleweight tournament. What is it like with Sando? Because I, for those that have not seen Sando, I know that the promotion's very high on him. They're looking to build up his record. What can you tell us about working with Sando in the gym and what kind of fighter he is?
Man, Cuba's so sharp. He's just a sharp fighter, fundamentally sound. If you make a mistake, he's going to make you pay for it.
Okay. Well, great. Well, again, congratulations on the victory. We hope to see you back soon. You definitely brought out a nice crowd. When would you like to get back in there?
Man, as soon as possible. I'll fight tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll fight tomorrow.
We had another guy say he was looking to fight tomorrow night. I think he's a little bit lighter than you, but, work out a catch weight tomorrow.
Line him up.
I like that. All right.
Knock him down.
Right, congratulations. Welcome to the pros. Very impressive knockout victory.
Good
Man,
job.
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate
Good job. Thank you. Here we go. Back to the action in the ring. Oh, good jab. Caught him coming in. Ooh,
Good work from
body
Bell.
work. Body work. Here we go.
And Bell is very, very rangy, too. You look at him, and these guys, I think they're 140 pounds. Bell looks like he's about 6'1", 6'2", unless my weight is wrong on this. These guys are junior welterweights?
He's got a really good jab, too, Bell. Really good rangefinder. Then he follows it up with nice hooks to the body. Yeah, unusual combinations.
Yeah. And, again, he's fighting a 10-fight veteran. Adam Young has fought 5 undefeated guys, so, he's got some experience. He's fought some good guys, but,
that body work's hurting him.
He hurt him. Delayed reaction.
Oh, there's the body work. The uppercut. The
He's gonna
body
go down
work.
soon.
Oh, he's going to go down.
I know the
There it is. There it is.
Yep.
I know the commissioner's loving this. Commissioner Melendez, right?
You know what? I just love boxing, period. I can see, as long as I see them trying their best, nobody's a loser in that ring. Nobody. It takes
Guts to step in there.
It takes
100%.
heart. You know what? Anybody who walks out of that dressing room, steps in that ring with their gloves on and ready to lace them up and fight anybody, that is a man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. And you know what? It's all on you. Even though you have a trainer, once you go in the ring, it's on you.
It's a one-on-one
have
sport.
It is. You have other sports. Where you have guys that are good and
Yeah.
look better because they have great players. Or great coach
football,
around them.
you got to counter 10 other guys besides yourself.
You could be an okay receiver with a great quarterback who makes you look great. You could be a bad quarterback with a good offensive line and a number of combinations. But boxing, it's you and your opponent. Again, not take anything away from a trainer who has a huge role. But once the bell rings, it is you and the other man in the ring. There's no substitutions. There's no timeouts. There's no breaks.
Using football as a guideline, Barry Sanders, one of the best running backs ever to run, in football. Yet he never got any of the acclimates he ever should have gotten because he doesn't have the line that he should have had.
Yeah, a lot of guys, and people loved Barry, but sometimes guys get more credit after their career. And it's funny. I was talking recently back to boxing. Lennox Lewis. I was talking to someone recently. I think Lennox is one of the guys that kind of like Barry. As weird of a comparison as is, a guy who was great. But I think once he retired, you look back and you're like, wow, this guy was unbelievable.
Right, Exactly.
Very underappreciated fighter.
You know what?
I tell you what, he got knocked out twice, but he avenged both defeats.
He beat,
Exactly.
you know,
What speaks
and the thing is,
louder.
he was very, very skilled and talented. You know, again, back on Lennox,
I'll never forget when he outboxed David Tua. What did he say after the ring? He said, "Science,
Exactly.
science." And David Tua was a dangerous guy.
David Tua was a beast.
yeah, and I'll say this, and it's one of the debates. You know, what I mean, he fought
Yeah,
Tyson.
girls are beautiful, aren't
Yep.
they?
Nice ring card girls. When he fought against Mike Tyson, a lot of people were saying Prime Tyson would have killed him, done this, and I say I don't know, because I think Tyson at any time would have had a hard time against a lengthy, athletic boxer who can move and had power like Lennox Lewis. I would have loved to see the fight in their prime, and I'll be honest, I might have favored stylistically. I might have favored Lennox.
You know what? I agree with you. Little Wood Buster Douglas did. All he did was box.
Yeah,
He didn't mix it up with him. He boxed.
you're right.
Well, didn't Riddick Bowe throw a belt in the trash can rather than fight Lennox Lewis?
Yeah, because I believe Lennox. I don't remember. It was in the amateurs. Was it the Olympics? Because I know Lennox had beaten him badly some point in their amateur career, and Riddick did not want to fight him, and that would have been a big fight. But yeah, Lennox very underrated fighter. You appreciate him more after his career.
Big Daddy was a beast. You know what? Some of my best fights was with Vanna Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. Oh my God.
Or the two
Yeah.
Bowe Galatas? Gosh,
Oh
those were
yeah,
great fights.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Bell seems to be controlling the fight here. Don't we think so?
And we
Yeah.
would expect it.
Yeah.
I would expect it anyways.
Yeah, he's got more boxing class. I mean, again, both guys are veteran. Bell's had more success, and you got two guys from Memphis with an opportunity, to fight somewhat locally. And I'm sure these guys have probably been in more states than anybody, and probably stayed at more local hotels and
Bell's a
anywhere you
what?
can picture.
What is it, like a 51 fight veteran?
Yeah, again, 51 fights. Again, you look at some of the names on his record, and you recognize a lot of them. Again, just naming a few: DeMarcus Corley, Eddie Ramirez, Adrian Granados, Willie Fortune, Wesley Tucker, Patrick Harris. Those are just some of the guys he fought.
fought.
Chop Chop just fought in Memphis last week.
And
Yes, he did.
Vivian Harris.
Yeah, Vivian's a beast as well.
Yeah, I know Vivian. Two guys that have definitely had their best days behind them. Both guys were former world champion. Nice punch on the inside.
Good right hand. Oh, he rushed in with a head, got
But
caught in the chin.
I will say this though about Bell. He's looking for his. He's been on a little bit of a winning streak.
Yeah,
He's won 8 of 9. He's won 8 of 9, looking to make it 9 of 10 today. And then that's, I'll tell you, for a guy who's been in tough and has been the so-called opponent in a lot of fights,
Wow.
it's got to feel good to have him get a little win streak going, and build
At
himself
this
back up a
point
little
in
bit.
his career to do it too, he's a guy that's later on in his career that's really starting to turn it up. But he's 34 years old. He's in great shape. He's doing a really good job tonight as well.
Yeah, and you know what? He actually, a couple fights ago, Bell ended up going and beating an undefeated kid. There was a fighter by the name of Tony Morris who was 4-0-1, undefeated in 5 fights. Bell went in, fought him in Mississippi, and beat him.
That's all it takes.
Gonna
One
get
big
upset
win.
these guys.
Like you said, can't judge a fighter by his record.
Absolutely not.
Can't
That's
judge
what
a
those
book by the
fighters
cover.
learned. Remember those fighters learned that on the Contender when they fought Grady Brewer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Grady's a
Tough, another one, tough guy. Didn't have the best record, but I was actually talking to someone involved with the promotion who used to work with another promotional firm, and they had a fighter named Fernando Guerrero, who was a big guy they were building up. He went on ESPN, and Grady was a journeyman. It was supposed to be a Keith Busy type fight, maybe a step above
the
Keith Busy.
Ghost.
No. Fernando, you're thinking of Robert Guerrero.
Robert.
So anyway, Fernando Guerrero was a prospect on the way up. Brewer was a journeyman.
Body shot.
Just missed a knockdown.
No.
And he ended up knocking him out. So that's what my point was. Is you can't judge a fighter by his record. You had a kid 18, 19-0, supposedly a top prospect. Brewer was on the way out, and Brewer knocked him out.
Got to give a tip of the hat to Emmanuel Burton, a.k.a. Emmanuel Augustus.
Yes.
What a
oh my
fighter.
God,
What a
the dancing machine.
I think we could fill the whole show with good fighters that don't have great records. I mean,
Absolutely.
we're starting to come short on guys. I mean, we've gone through a bunch.
Dancing machine, Emmanuel Augustus. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, he ended up having some.
We have a stoppage in the 40 seconds into the 4th round for your winner, Dedrick Bell. Ladies and gentlemen, before we bring you your next fight, we're going to take a short intervention. You got to be sure to thank the waiters, the waitresses, and the bartenders. And as I said before, if you want a hat or a t-shirt, they are for sale.
Sometimes the lights and the dark.